Welcome back to
the Zak
and Buzz
Review,
where we are doing a review of
Nosferatu.
Okay, can we talk in normal voices now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Okay, we went to see Nosferatu.
Well, first thing I want to say about this is the fact that I went into this movie having seen like most of the other versions of Nosferatu.
And for me, I've seen the original many moons ago, and haven't seen any of the other things that have popped up in between. Because I know William Dafoe did actually play Nosferatu in another movie.
In
Nosferatu?
No, Shadow of the Vampire.
Shadow of the Vampire, which I haven't seen.
Which I recommend you see.
I shall see it.
Okay, where's Nosferatu?
So I went into this having seen those, and basically I've been on the fringes of like the information about this movie. I didn't really want to find out anything about it until I saw it.
Yeah, I was the same with that. I was the same, and but of course, with Nosferatu again, I kind of go into see Nosferatu knowing that it. I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's kind of rip-off of Dracula.
I mean, that's the whole thing. That's the whole story since Nosferatu became a thing.
Exactly.
That has been the thing, and
That's
it is very clearly that.
It's quite clearly it is Dracula. So so it's kind of it's difficult to watch some bits of it because you kind of know what's going to be happening, and then certain things don't happen in the same way. But that's quite refreshing. But it's like watching a different. It's just a different iteration of Dracula.
So what I really liked about this movie was how stylized it was. It was very much in keeping with the stylized films that Robert Eggers, as the director, has done before.
And for me, I enjoyed that, and the cinematography throughout the movie gave it that real gothic horror look.
It looked great. Looked great.
Which was immaculate, stunning. You know? All the camera tricks and things that they just made it work so well, and it really drew you in to the film like immediately. Definitely. I was like riveted from the moment it started. I loved just the fact that it came up with the Universal Special logo at the beginning.
I found that hilarious.
Which is quite funny, yes.
Because I'm pretty sure they were the people that had an issue with the original Nosferatu being a thing.
Ripping off the Universal's Count Dracula.
So, what was a nice little touch that no other version of Nosferatu has ever done is the fact that when it was very low lighting, very dark, it was almost like there was like a filter over the camera lens that gave it the impression of being in black and white. It wasn't, but it was just off of black and white.
Yeah, no, again.
Maybe we should just cut to that now in this video.
Okay.
So we're going to go black and white. Wow.
Whoa.
That was a nifty transition,
That was a nifty transition.
So do you feel gothic and retro yet?
Maybe a little bit. It did had a feel, if you're familiar with Penny Dreadful, it had a kind of feel with the Penny Dreadful series, especially the actress when she was going through her possessed stages.
That's a good touch, because to my knowledge, there was no kind of backstory as to that character's...
No. If you went
in the previous ones.
Yeah, but if you went straight in and watched this Nosferatu movie, and let's just say you weren't familiar with Dracula, as in the original Dracula story.
It is no matter.
Yeah, because it was a bit ambiguous at times. Yeah, they didn't mention Transylvania; they just mentioned the Carpathian Mountains. They didn't come to London. They went to Germany instead.
I think it's been long enough since we had like a dedicated Dracula movie, like Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman. That was obviously done by Coppola. That was very stylized as well.
Although I will say, I loved the way that Bill Skarsgård, obviously he played Nosferatu. Well, not Nosferatu, Count Orlok. But let's just get this right. Nosferatu is just a is it the Romanian word, which means the deceiver, the evil one, the vampire.
The vampire, yeah.
So he's not called Nosferatu, he's Count Orlok.
Yeah.
And the voice that he is using was very reminiscent, I thought, of, at times, the way that Gary Oldman came across with the accent. Yeah.
It's an interesting comparison there.
Yeah.
Because going back to the fact that Bill Skarsgård is actually playing Count Orlok in this, when I mentioned that to you after the movie, you didn't even know.
Well,
you didn't even
no,
know.
I didn't realise.
You didn't clock it.
I didn't clock the fact that he was that character.
You actually questioned who was Bill Skarsgård in the credits.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I went in there without. I meaningfully paid no attention to anything online or anything about this.
Exactly.
I wanted to go in completely off the cuff, and his legs are looking pretty bad, aren't they? He needs to eat something.
Yeah.
That's a reference to the end of the movie.
Bringing that up, what did you think to the final scene? Because it was very different to previous versions.
Look, I've got to say, it's very different. There's so much in this movie, right? From the moment that the husband, what's his name?
Yeah.
I keep thinking of.
It's that John Harker character.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
the John. That's what I keep thinking of the Dracula names.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Mina and
Yeah.
everything. But where okay, so there was
Nicholas Holt's character.
Yeah,
Come on, Beast. He's not here.
Nicholas Hoult. Well, there's a couple of moments in this. So, for example, when he first goes to the, what do you call it, an estate agent's?
Yeah.
Where he's been offered a job and a placement in the company, but he's got to sell this mansion house to Count Orlok, but he needs to go to Transylvania, to the Carpathian Mountains in order to sign the deal. Did you notice that when he was going through the paperwork in the office with the head of the company, there was just to one side of the screen there was some paperwork with loads of runes written on it.
Was there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'm going to watch this again.
That was the first little clue that the guy was up to something. Yeah, because it was.
That's interesting.
You know, and
because that Knock character was very much the Renfield of this story.
Well, he was Renfield, and last time we saw him, it was in that. Oh gosh,
Do you remember?
Carnival Row.
There you go.
Carnival Row.
Yeah, point for that.
Hey, so I haven't got a hooter. So anyway, yeah. So, but that was the thing. So I come in and it's looking really good, and it's really creepy and everything, and then. And I didn't know who was playing the parts, and then the actual actors start coming out of the woodwork. And there's one point I'm thinking, hang on a minute, we've got Kraven the Hunter here, we've got Beast from the X-Men, we've got Professor X's sister from Deadpool
and Wolverine.
Suddenly there's a whole mix of characters in there. It's like a superhero
mashup.
The mashup is brilliant. It was really good, and it just there's so much to say about this movie. It's Dracula. It is Dracula, but it is presented so well, and just has you engaged all the way through. And I loved the soundscape. When he's in Count Orlok's castle and Count Orlok is walking away from him, the footsteps are like bang, 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 and it's like, oh my!
He is so creepy.
He is so creepy. However, although I think this movie overall is fantastic, and I could probably rave about this for hours, probably the only one downside for me in it, if there is a downside, and I'm sure it was a director's choice on this one, but obviously as a vampire he was biting them in the chest to suck blood from their heart. Yeah. But in that final sequence when we finally see he lifts up away from her chest. Yeah. And his teeth actually just look like jaggedy teeth. Yeah. And you kind of feel that I wanted to see either two fangs or the classic two fangs, Nosferatu fangs retracting maybe. Yeah. Retracting because you think to get through past the breastplate into the heart, just biting the skin isn't really doing the job. You know, it would have been nice to have something sort of just lifts up to the sunlight breaking through the window, and then the fangs retract as it goes. But it's a minor thing. It's probably director's choice. But what we haven't mentioned is, of course, the Green Goblin.
Oh, I thought you were going to mention the moustache.
Oh, I like the moustache. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was completely new. Hadn't seen that before.
Well, we have actually seen a Dracula movie with Dracula with a moustache.
Oh,
Christopher Lee.
Yeah, that. Okay. So the only Christopher Lee Dracula movie, that isn't a Hammer horror one. Yep. Count Dracula, which is like a Spanish co-production type of thing.
Which actually is really good in the sense that it follows the actual Bram Stoker's Dracula story. Yeah.
pretty. It's like
much.
the thing behind it is the fact that it's one of the most faithful adaptations to the actual
with
story.
Christopher Lee.
Yeah,
and he has a big bushy moustache.
He does.
And I thought that when I saw that moustache, I thought,
Yeah.
hey,
There's a good little
nod to
connection
Christopher
there.
Lee.
Yeah.
And but of course we have William Dafoe, the Green Goblin, another
Yes.
superhero character.
Playing the Van Helsing character.
And he was excellent in it.
He's great in most things.
Yeah, he's great in most things. I mean, I don't think I've been in a movie with him.
No, unfortunately, you haven't ticked the Defoe off the
I
list.
haven't ticked the Defoe. But that again was a lovely little nod at the end because obviously, you get the classic sort of shadows of Nosferatu, Count Orlok going up the walls and everything, and then in the original one, the sunlight comes through the window.
Yeah,
and
he basically fades away.
And in this one, you actually get William Dafoe stands in front of the window as the sun's rising, and then off to one side. If you didn't notice this, I'd be surprised if you didn't notice it. But there's a mirror just in the corner shot where you can see his face in it, and you think he's sort of like. He's already played Nosferatu.
Yeah,
and they've put him in the window.
I was so deliberately done.
Deliberately done. He played Nosferatu, so we're going to stick you in the window
For
as
the final
sunrise,
shot. That was great. That really was
good.
great.
Yeah, for a film fan, that was a nice.
That death at the end was very kind of different, wasn't it? It
Yes.
was very much playing on the cock crowing stuff.
And
vampire lore and things like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting choice. I was kind of expecting a more kind of spontaneous combustion type of
I didn't know how they were
deal.
going to handle it because obviously he didn't even disintegrate.
No,
The body
he
was-
literally just kind of started bleeding everywhere
But that was-
rather grossly.
Yeah, that was my comment on his legs because he had really skinny, horrible-looking legs on him, which was quite fun.
Yeah, I think that was the point, really.
Yeah. But other bits in the movie. So I thought it was fun when he went to the village with the gypsies.
Oh yeah.
Where they actually did using an iron spike another vampire, didn't they? So there were vampires around.
Yeah.
And they did.
It seemed to be some kind of ritual thing.
But they
I would love to see this again.
Yeah.
Just to give a closer examination.
Because they obviously dug up a vampire.
It looked pretty.
And stuck it, and it threw up all this blood as he got stuck.
Yeah.
And then by the morning they cleared off, and that's when I thought it was pretty funny when the actor comes out. What's his name again?
Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult comes out of the let's call it the inn.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Where's my horse? Where's my horse?" It's like, they're all buggered off and stolen his horse.
And I thought it was very cool. When he's walking down that really dark road.
Mm-hmm. So
where
he gets to the crossroads.
Yeah, he gets to the crossroads. It kind of looks like an inverted crucifix type thing, imagery wise.
Yeah.
And then the
carriage
comes. And what's an interesting kind of thing comparing it to the other ones is where in the other ones the driver is obviously Nosferatu. It is Count Orlok, but he's covering his face and things. Whereas in this one it seemed to be like a driverless carriage.
Yeah, I think
which was quite cool.
Have they not done that in Hammer Horrors before, where a driver's coaches turn up, or have they always had a driver?
I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure.
One thing
I thought it was cool.
One thing, because it does stick so close to the story of Count Dracula. Yep. I was wondering if when we were at Count Orlok's castle, whether we'd actually have a reference to Dracula's brides. Which we didn't. We didn't. So,
but
I wondered if
that is in keeping with the other movies. I don't recall ever seeing Count Orlok having any brides.
No, that's fair.
And I suppose, to a sense, I can understand why in this particular version they didn't do that.
Well,
because it would detract from
because he's attached to
the lady character.
The
meaner of the story.
The meaner of the story. That's right. Which obviously is he's attached to her, kind of throughout the centuries, because I'm assuming it's her spirit being reborn.
Or, again, very much like the Bram Stoker's Dracula type thing.
Yeah.
The correlations between the two are so numerable. It's like watching the same movie, but different.
Exactly. So, overall, right.
Yeah.
Let's get to that. So much to talk about, but we will bore you to death if we haven't already. So let's give it a score.
Okay. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You for a change.
Okay, for a change. I will say that I absolutely love this movie, so I've got to give it a 10. Gonna give it a 10.
Okay, and for me, I loved the movie. I loved the whole cinema presentation, being on the big screen. Loved the sound of the particular theatre we were in. I actually think it's going to get even better when I get to rewatch it in 4K. And I think, didn't you mention that there's possibly that they're going to do an extended version?
Yes, yeah, on the physical media release, which is going to come out sometime this year, we are getting an extended cut.
Right, so, but solely for what I've seen,
yep, the theatrical,
I'm going to give it a solid 10.
Hey!
So, yeah, I can't not do that. It was great.
Closing comments on this. It definitely inspires me to go back and revisit the other Nosferatu films.
Well, I certainly want to see the one you mentioned.
Especially Shadow of the Vampire, which is one I've only seen once, but I have really good memories of.
So I don't know how that's managed to bypass me.
Well, the thing is, with it, I think it's because it's not called Nosferatu that it's really kind of just avoided detection for all these years.
I'm going to have to watch it. There you go. I've got a job to do.
And there we are. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to this channel and comment below any suggestions of further reviews you'd like to see.
See you in the next one.